What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. We've definitely spent a lot of time focusing on League of Legends community creations, but I'm trying to expand a little bit outside of things that are just champions and skins, so I thought it'd be really cool to touch on cosplay, as there's actually tons of just insanely talented cosplayers bringing League of Legends champions to life. And to be maybe a little bit more specific, I wanted to focus on prop weaponry, as it's definitely one of the coolest, and at least my favorite thing to see with these cosplays, seeing people bring those awesome video game weapons to life. I'm really excited for this video today. Hope you guys enjoy, and let's jump right into it. First up on our list for today, we have Jace's Mercury Cannon by Jaspers Cosplay. The first thing that really jumps out to you about this prop is that it is just absolutely huge. I mean, it was made to scale, so it stands at human height, and this is one that I am very fond of because I believe I actually got the chance to see it in real life at PAX a couple years ago. Now, the primary building material here is called Warbla, which is a popular material used by cosplay prop makers, although we also use toy lightsabers for the spokes poking out of the top. Now, according to Jasper, it weighs in at about 60 pounds and disassembles into 4 separate pieces for transformation. Now, Jasper originally intended to design it to be able to transform, but unfortunately ran short of time in the run-up to PAX. One of the most impressive things about the Mercury Cannon here is the lighting. He uses a combination of LEDs and layers of blue tinted cellophane to get this perfect blue glow. And a cool tip that he actually shared for emphasizing the glow was to mount the LEDs sideways and give them a reflective backing. And you can really see the difference it makes because the glow here seriously looks vibrant and realistic. Awesome job to Jasper. You can find links to his work in the description, as well as the specific cosplay along with all the other cosplayers we're going to feature today. So definitely check out the original cosplayers, give them some love, find the links in the description again. And now continuing with our main theme, actually here, of obnoxiously huge weaponry. Next up, we have Callie Mac Cosplay with Poppy's Hammer. So Callie Mac created the hammer out of an array of simple materials. Foam for the hammerhead, a combination of cardboard and PVC pipe for the handle, and Warbla for the mounting point between the hammer and handle. This one measures in at just over 2 meters tall, although apparently it's not 100% to scale, as with a human-sized Poppy, the hammer would actually have to be over 3 meters tall to adjust to the scaling in the game. Most of the detail was added through a combination of painting and weathering to give it a much more authentic look, and some extra thought went into making it possible to slightly shorten the handle, since some conventions do place size limits on the props that you're allowed to bring inside. As with the Mercury Cannon we featured previously, the hammer doesn't weigh too much actually, at least relative to how big it is, and can be broken down into a few convenient pieces for storage, which is really impressive considering how solid it looks from the pictures we've seen. Definitely check out Callie Mac's cosplay links in the description below. This is some seriously awesome stuff. Now our third design comes in from -10°C with her take on Master Yi's sword. Unfortunately, there's not quite as much information on how she crafted the sword, but from the Warbla tag she used on Instagram, I'm definitely noticing that that has got to be one of the key ingredients. One of the really impressive things about this sword here is the shape and the shading. From a distance, it really looks like a super sharp, legit sword. It's just so authentic and very well designed, and all the other details have been matched with Master Yi perfectly as well, overall making this a really slick design in general. A lot of Yi cosplayers go with the green LED route for the glow, which makes it all the more impressive that -10°C managed to get a similar effect with nothing but some skilled painting effects. Although a lot can be said for simple designs, our next feature is definitely the exact opposite. Rob Props and Cosplay is pretty well known for his prop making handiwork, and his Viktor cosplay on this one is no exception. The staff itself, or the Hex Core as it's known in-game, is a metal staff with a spinning ball of energy on the top that changes color as Viktor improves his gear. To emulate the character as closely as possible, Rob wired up his staff at variable speeds, cycle through all RGB colors, and even trigger his basic attack animation and sound effects. Rob created the staff with PVC pipe for the base, along with 3D printed moving parts, and of course, a whole lot of electronics. In addition to the staff, Rob also wanted to create Viktor's signature moving laser arm. He 3D printed the hand with 2-axis wrist control, and then laser cut the housing for the elbow, shoulder, and base, enabling 5-axis motion via huge servo motors. Of course, the robot arm wouldn't be complete without an industrial grade red LED in the palm. Unfortunately not a legitimate laser, but conventions tend to be a little bit unhappy with that sort of thing. This is probably one of the most complex and intricate cosplays I personally have ever seen, and we didn't even begin to touch on the mask, his included voice changer that he uses as well, but I wanted to focus a little bit on the weapons in this one, so we'll have to leave it at there. But Rob is definitely one of my favorite cosplayers of all time, so massive respect to Rob for making this bad boy happen. Definitely check out his Facebook page below and give him some love. Now our fifth creation today is Jinx's weaponry from the Firecracker skin, made by Nadja Sonica. Both Pow Pow and Fishbones were created for this cosplay in their Firecracker skin variants, and the detail is really insane. You can tell that a lot of time and effort went into shaping and painting the models, and it honestly makes this cosplay look super professional. Unfortunately, there's not necessarily as much information on how she crafted those two amazing weapons, but the colors and details are so accurate that it looks like they could have just been lifted straight out of the game. Another awesome cosplay and some incredible prop weaponry. Next up on the list today, we have Dark God Maru with this insane Thresh cosplay. It's not a perfect replication of Thresh's original skin, but it's damn close enough that nobody's going to notice the difference. It honestly looks straight from the game itself. There's not that much information about the creator and what exactly they used to make the project, but on previous projects he actually mentioned using urethane foam, vinyl, and spray paint to get a detailed metal-like effect. The scythe, chain, and lantern were all likely created this way, and it's impressively realistic. He kind of does his own spin on the colors and designs, and the scale seems to be pretty much perfect, and that actually goes a really long way to making a cosplay look convincing, especially when it comes to how it looks compared to the in-game models. Scythes are surprisingly pretty damn intimidating weapons when you see them in real life, but of course with Thresh, it's important that you focus on drawing attention to the lantern. So I'm sure a lot of effort went into giving it that glowing appearance as if it was just brimming with souls. Definitely check out Dark God Maru's other amazing work on DeviantArt. You can find the link below down in the description. Now our next real life weapon is a Darius Axe, created as part of a gender-bent Darius cosplay by Riot Jinx. Jinx actually works as a producer and creator support for Riot Games, and she's been cosplaying in particular for over 20 years. And this Darius cosplay is something that I got to see in person at Summoners Con quite a few years ago actually. It's honestly just as insane as it looks. If anything, it looks even better in person. It's really just so amazing what talented people can create with only a few materials. Everything you see here is created from just some EVA foam, Warbler, some wood glue, and just a small lick of paint. And one of the really cool things about cosplays with detailed weaponry is that you see the details in the design that you might not have noticed before when playing the character in the game. And so it's really cool to go back and compare the prop axe to the in-game axe and see just how closely all the little details match up. Riot Jinx did such an awesome job making it mirror the game as closely as possible, and it's easily one of my favorites on today's list. It's kind of biased though, because I did get to see it in person. Lucian's weapons are up next, created by Cadu Out. Now something that was really impressive for me about this cosplay is that he actually started working on it after seeing Lucian's concept art that got leaked about a year before the release of the character, and he completed this cosplay before Lucian had even released. Unfortunately, we haven't found any details on how Cadu Out created these awesome weapons, but from looking at his other cosplay work in progress posts, he seems to favor working with EVA foam, as with a lot of the other cosplayers we featured today. He seems to have also used some kind of translucent plastic or screen to diffuse the light from the LEDs, and it gives a really awesome glow that makes these weapons seem almost surreal. It's crazy. And it actually suits the character a lot better than something that's maybe a little bit more realistic. With champions like Darius or Jinx, you definitely want the weaponry to look as realistic as possible, but for champions that use magical powers or ancient relics or guns that shoot lasers, they definitely look best if you can get some sort of paranormal look to them, and Cadu Out managed to do exactly that, and it's an awesome part of what makes these weapons look so amazing. Raging Shadow Cosplay is up next with this killer Mecha Khazix cosplay. I got to see this one at E3, I believe was the convention. It might have actually been a different convention, don't quote me on that one, but I definitely did see this one in person. It was so damn cool, and it's always impressive to see accurate cosplays of really inhuman characters. But although the whole cosplay is awesome, we are of course going to focus on the weapons. Khazix uses a combination of his curved claws and spike projectiles to consume his prey, and Raging Shadow Cosplay used a couple different techniques for each one. He mentioned having access to a lot of different resources thanks to his job, so he experimented with different designs and materials until it all finally came together. He originally intended to use mostly foam to keep it lightweight, but despite that, the wings actually added a lot of weight on his back, which meant that he needed to use Warbler for the chest to give some extra support so that he could wear the whole thing. Using painted plastic cones wired up with LEDs, he managed to get a really sweet looking glow for the spikes that match up with the in-game picture quite accurately. As for the claws, it's just shaped and painted foam to keep things simple and lightweight, but they still look super awesome. Now our last in real life lead weaponry today is another Callie Mac creation, this time with Redeemed Riven's sword rather than Poppy's hammer. She went through a ton of different materials trying to create this masterpiece, as it was actually her first big cosplay build way back in the day, which meant experimenting with Warbler, resin, foam, polymorph, all sorts of different fabrics and electronics, not to mention paint of course. The sword itself looks just absolutely stunning. The scale and details are pretty much perfect, although it actually apparently ended up being super heavy to the point where she could barely lift it off the ground. Something that maybe a lot of newer cosplayers tend to struggle with seems to be properly weathering weapons or armor to make them seem old and well used, but that doesn't seem to be an issue for Callie Mac since she did an amazing job giving Riven's blade the battered and broken appearance that it has in game. Anyway, that's just about going to wrap it up for all the cosplays I wanted to show off to you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, and make sure to show some support, show your love to the original creators. You can find all the links to them in the video description. Leave them a nice comment, say, hey, your cosplays are so awesome. Just give them some love because they're awesome, honestly. Anyways, that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.